Hello, you're here with Jenny today for this video. If you've joined me before, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For all the new people joining me today, welcome. Today I will be highlighting for you some of the important astrology occurring with this total lunar eclipse in Taurus. First of all, it's occurring at 16 degrees Taurus. Now, eclipses impact the collective always. If your natal chart has been activated by some of the important points at this time, you'll be feeling this eclipse personally. For everyone else, it might just pass you by. So let's get into it and see what we can uncover. So the moon is in Taurus with the North Node and Uranus, which creates a dynamic, potentially explosive, sudden shifts and changes kind of vibe. But I'll come back to that in a moment. On the opposite side of the chart, you will find the Sun, Venus and Mercury all in Scorpio, along with the South Node of the Moon. That is the basic astrology, so let's get into it. On the 25th of October, we had a solar eclipse in Scorpio. And then 2 weeks later, the Taurus full moon, total lunar eclipse. For this Scorpio Taurus eclipse season, I have created a playlist on YouTube with many different videos focusing on different aspects that are highlighted during this time period. So the time between the two eclipses is the deep heart of the eclipse moment. If we're going to talk about Taurus and Scorpio, we have to talk about security, deep inner security into our lives and awareness about these themes. Resources, your own personal resources versus resources you share with other people. Your own self-reliance versus where you merge with other people, partners, situations. And Taurus is looking for simplicity, is looking for inner peace and serenity, is always interested in banking systems, money, finance, personal resources, possessions. It's always about survival needs. Can you pay the rent, food on the table, petrol in the car? These basic survival needs are all raised when we're talking Taurus. On the other hand, Scorpio likes things complicated, likes to dive deep and go into the messy, into the hidden, into psychological and emotional and security aspects of ourselves. So with Taurus, the cosmic invitation is to simplify your life. Where can you downsize? Where can you remove clutter that you no longer need? And that can be physical possessions. If you look at your finances, is there a way that you can downsize your living? So it is working in accordance with your own values, but other stuff that is no longer relevant to you has been deleted. So you might want to consider downsizing your home, reducing the number of streaming services that you have, or can you do with one car instead of two? These are the sorts of practical questions that are up into the mix generally during this eclipse portal and moving into the future. So let's look at the Scorpio end of the spectrum first of all. Scorpio loves to dive deep. So we've got Mercury in Scorpio, and that means your detective vibe is on, and the urge to dive deep into emotional and psychological areas and aspects of yourself is Scorpio to be the archaeologist of the soul. An archaeologist that loves diving deep into the underneath, into the underworld, into the hidden layers, and unearthing the lost, the disavowed, the forgotten, emotional and psychological content that was too hard to process at the time, or you were too busy living life doing other things, so it got shoved down, suppressed down into the underlayers of ourselves. So this archaeologist comes along in Mercury and wants to dig in and unearth and reveal and bring to the surface some of this terrain of our psychology and bring them into the present for us to look at, to consider, to emotionally step into and feel them, to feel this deep content so that we're able to heal it and then purge it, process, integrate, so it's no longer in our experience and no longer limiting our life moving forward. Artifacts that the archaeologist has found actually contain gold within them. They're lost parts of ourselves that do need to be integrated in. These artifacts that the archaeologists unearth are often come from our childhood stories and situations and traumas. Indeed, can be from past life and from any point along your life, but it is emotional content. And in there is gold. So there's good things that have been lost amongst that pain and tender points and vulnerabilities. There is good, powerful parts of ourselves that are also contained within. If you go along the archaeological dig into layers and layers underneath to reveal the pain and the actual cause, the gold that comes up after processing is additional life source, life energy to take us forward. Parts that we haven't had access to, we now do have access to and can integrate within ourselves holistically, which opens up new potentials and pathways for us as individuals to step into our authentic self and to know ourselves in a much deeper way and the truth of who we are and our emotional and psychological needs are better integrated into ourselves going forward. You might be tempted to run away from the fear and pain that comes forward, but please understand that it has come up because your psyche is ready to integrate and process this content, and there is gold within and there's beauty within. So you need to hold space for yourself with deep, kind compassion as you process these artifacts. In the days, weeks and months ahead will be revealed to you. Venus, Sun, the South Node and Mercury are all in Scorpio. Scorpio similarly wants to take a deep dive into relationships, feelings, where you're connected to other people, how your relationships are shaking down, potentially secrets might be revealed, things you didn't want to see might come to the surface in terms of your relationship to yourself and or other people. And in our personal lives, you're diving into relationship dynamics and assessing how well they're working for you. Is there hidden aspects of relationships that you've wanted to pretend weren't there, suppressed and denied, and it was just easier to push it down, push it away rather than actually deal with it and face it? Well, this eclipse will help you to face any of these aspects of yourself and also your relationship with other people. With Venus in Scorpio, you may discover some shocking news, some emotional shocks might occur within your relationships, which could involve sexual themes and also power dynamics between the two people or two or three people in the relationship. This theme is part of this Taurus lunar eclipse. So there can be a call within to not just reassess relationships, but also take a stand. Is it time for this relationship to finish? Do we need to break up, or do I want to reinvest in this relationship and really try and solve the issues that are underway, and really to pull out hidden dynamics within the relationship that you'd prefer just not to look at? When I'm talking relationships, I'm talking about lovers, life partners, friends, family members, people you've got long-term close relationships with. This is a time where relationships can break up, can break down, can break through, reconfigured, recalibrated or reinvented according to your current awareness about your psychological and emotional needs and what is important to you and what you value in relationships. If it comes into your awareness, to not sweep it under the carpet, but instead look at it, face it, deal with it, process it, and that can well mean mourning, grief, loss as you process these deeper emotions and situations and heal that area so that you can transform, because all of these planets in Scorpio, and the sun is there too, are wanting to transform. They're wanting to let go of reliance on other people, situations, different. When you are emotionally and psychologically attached to something else, something external to you that's outside of yourself. There is a cosmic invitation here to dive deep into those areas, and part of that experience can be uncovering unequal power relationships, or where you might personally feel disempowered, or where you might feel powerful. That can be part of the conversation as well. If you're not personally impacted by this full moon, other people around you might be. So I encourage you to give other people the space to sit with their vulnerability and to sit with any pain or grief or loss that comes up for them. The invitation is to hold in a sacred way and in a loving way any triggers that might come through for you or others. And there is a moment there, there's an invitation there, there's an openness there. So when triggers occur in life, part of what that tells me is that your psyche is ready, willing and able to deal with this. The cosmic invitation is absolutely to embrace with love and process the emotional content that is there. And again, it can be for you or other people. So you might need to give people space, you might need to give yourself space. And a really nice way of working with this energy is to honour what comes up for you and to give yourself time and space and emotional caring so that you're able to process this and put it to bed, and then you're free to move on. That's an act of alchemy and transformation. You will walk away from this moment after you've processed it feeling more free and slightly lighter. You know, there'll be a sense of a burden has been lifted from you. And it is a moment of transformation, either in small ways or big ways. And when we transform, there are limitations that are removed from our experience, and that leaves us freer to move on and live the life that we want. With the South Node in Scorpio mixing in with the Sun, Venus and Mercury, there's opportunities there to release, cleanse, wash away and purge past life dynamics or current life dynamics within relationships where the karma dance, you're over it. You're so over that dance. You're ready to release it once and for all from your experience. Also, soul contracts can be torn up and removed from your experience because you've learnt the lessons and you no longer need to be doing that dance any longer. There is immense cosmic support to heal and transform aspects of ourselves during this lunar eclipse. As part of uncovering and bringing to your conscious awareness, it can be through flashes of insight and genius, the information that may be illuminated for you, new possibilities, new outlook, a higher perspective on a situation that you're in or your approach to the world can absolutely be illuminated at this time and in the days ahead. And this can lead to significant changes in your life. New possibilities are open to you about how you might like to move forward in life and how you might like to adjust your lifestyle or how you're living, and certainly reassessing your values and what's important to you and where you want to invest your time, energy and attention moving forward in life. And that does step into the lifestyle choices that we make and how we spend our money and what we spend our money on what we spend our money on. And if that's guided by what is important to you and what you truly value, then fantastic. On the other hand, if you're spending money on things that aren't that relevant anymore, but you're just sort of doing it, good time to purge that, reassess that, change that up, move that about. New ideas may come into you consciously, apparently out of the blue. A bang, it's there. And these new insights might take you in a new direction, opening up new possibilities to your life and where you're headed in life. And back on the Taurus side of things, let's talk about this for a moment. Where Scorpio likes the world complicated. Taurus likes the world simple. And so this is a good time energetically to do some spring cleaning, empty out your possessions, remove what is no longer helpful in your life, in the physical sense of your possessions at home. You can energetically remove, donate on, throw into the rubbish, pass on to a friend, whatever. But things that are no longer possessions, that are no longer helpful, or they're just sort of sitting around and being a bit stagnant, get rid of them. Time to release, let go. In the days around the Taurus full moon, that is a really good activity to do to help energetically clear out your space. So we're talking Taurus, and we have Uranus in Taurus and the North Node in Taurus. So the North Node is wanting us to move towards our future, our destiny. And these eclipses are fated times. So you may meet somebody or encounter a situation or grow a new awareness within yourself that fundamentally does change your life going forward. So because Uranus is there deeply in the mix, this speaks to sudden unexpected changes. It speaks to freedom, breakthrough, break up, break away, and stepping into your authentic self. One, simplify. Where can you simplify your life? Number two, there's a big call to really sit down and have a good think about what it is that you value and find important in life. So yes, I'm talking your own self-worth, and I'm also talking when you really assess what your values are, that helps to determine, that helps you to know where you want to spend your time, where you want to spend your resources, where you want to spend your money. So where you're going to invest in your future is fundamentally guided by what your values are. And for the past couple of years, we've all been encouraged to reassess what we value and what we think is important, and therefore what we want to spend our time, energy and effort moving towards. So that's a big thing to do with the North Node. With Uranus there, that can speak to unexpected sudden disruptions, epiphanies, high mind, situations that might occur that just upset the apple cart, turn your life upside down. This can be in a really tiny way, or it can be in a major way. And it absolutely can be in a positive way. Please don't think this is going to be a negative thing that's going to turn your world upside down. Definitely doesn't have to be that. It can be absolutely positive. So because Uranus is there, it's really hard to predict how that might go down because in whichever way we might try and predict what Uranus is up to and how it's going to shake up our lives so that we can break free from the known and step into the unknown. The nature of the beast means it's impossible to forecast, so it can be really unexpected things that occur, and they, as I said, they can be big or small unexpected things. And it could even just be in your outlook and how you approach something in life. You know, you might have a major change of perspective. That could well be a way it shows up, which with that new perspective can absolutely reorientate your life in a new way. So with Uranus, it's about breaking free and stepping into the unknown. So as soon as you go, oh yeah, let's step into the unknown, that's a great idea, Jen. Yeah, start a new career. Yeah, fabulous. And then really soon after that, fear can come up, or guilt. And you need to process that step by step. You know, it's some changes in lives can't happen in 2 seconds flat. They can take weeks or months building. Saturn is encouraging us to take methodical step by step to lay good, strong, firm foundations for where we're headed in terms of projects, what we're doing for work, how we want our lives to look. Big, strong, firm foundations moving towards a conscious, collaborative new earth experience is 100% the invitation that's going on there. So some things you just can't change in a flash, you know. It's like the idea might come through for the change or a new way of doing things, but you may not be able to actually ground it and embody it on earth just like that. In fact, many things you can't. Like, it's rare that you can. So, but you can get really serious about making your plans. You can get really serious about taking step by step. And again, that comes back to your values. What are you going to invest your time in? What are you going to invest your energy in? You know, what is worth you spending your time and energy? Another thing that can come through with the North Node in Taurus is to diversify your income. Rather than relying on one employment situation, to have multiple streams of income. Clearly in the world we're living in at the moment, you can see how that is kind of good advice for all of us to take in terms of being able to maintain a sense of security, really, because when everything is chaotic around you and it's hard to predict which way things in society might go, and we've learnt recently through the pandemic of fear that lockdowns can happen in a flash and careers are just destroyed or jobs just go on hold. We've seen that happen in real life. So diversity of income is a really good way to work with that energy. It's a bit of future-proofing. You know, we've seen what's going on with banking. It's all a bit chaotic and sudden shifts and changes in governments across the globe and the banking system and new forms of banking and big money, etc., etc. So it goes on. So I don't think you need to be a brain scientist to get on board with the idea that diverse income streams does give you a certain sense of future-proofing your life and will also build in to you personally a sense of security, which is a beautiful way to work with the North Node in Taurus. So on my playlist, I have a number of videos for you to watch, and I'm adding to them every few days. I'm adding a new video in just at the moment in the heart of this eclipse portal. And I've got 2 videos up which speak about how to navigate this Mars retrograde in Gemini, including the square to Neptune in Pisces. There's some really grounded guidance on how to work with those energies and the best ways to harness that energy in your own daily life. So you can find out more about the Mars retrograde there. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is that Jupiter has retrograded back from Aries into Pisces again. And this is awakening the dream big moment that we had back in April 2022. Do you remember? All the astrologers were talking about dream big. What are you going to dream for yourself? What are you going to dream for your community? How do you want your future to look? That was the big vibe happening back in April, and it's back again. So you might find yourself revisiting some of those ideas that you had back then in terms of reassessing. Are they still true? Do they still fit right? Do they still resonate with you? Are they the way you want to move forward? And the other thing to consider is, are you dreaming big enough? Is your dream too small and too humble? We have all this new energy coming through. We're all being fast-tracked through ascension. Our vibration and frequency is rising. How big can you dream a dream? Are you thinking too small? Can you think bigger? Could be a project, could be a future career, could be a new lifestyle that you want to bring in. And what about the strong archetype of unity in diversity, in collaboration, in co-creating with others, in equality, respectful and fair relationships with others? This is all part of the entry into the new earth, which in little pockets is occurring, although mainstream media won't talk about that, is occurring already. And, you know, people are getting together in groups. Have you found your tribe? Who is your tribe? What can you do to connect up with your tribe? Potentially you'll dream a bigger dream if you're amongst others who resonate with you. And one of the nice ways to work with an eclipse is to actually give yourself some downtime if you can. I understand it's not always possible, but is there a way of clearing out your schedule a bit so you've got a bit more time so that you can process whatever might come up for you? If you can bring your heart space into there and have lots of compassion and love towards whatever has come up for you, that will help you to transform the energies as you process, heal, and let them go. Because we know that a full moon is about letting go, dissolve, release, purge. Full moon is going to be a dynamic time for some of us, and I myself will be taking time off straight afterwards. I expect to be processing content This is a dynamic time for all of us, and you can expect the unexpected. You might be surprised personally by the content that comes through for you, and I wish you well for that journey. It can be an extremely painful, tender time, and if you are in the midst of processing some deep emotion, do be mindful of who you're spending time with while you're feeling fragile and vulnerable, and who you allow in energetically into your space whilst you're processing. And I know for sure that you'll come through this and out the other side stronger, happier, more clear, and also feeling more empowered about who you are and what you're about and where you're headed. Woo-hoo! Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to hear what your thoughts are about this lunar eclipse. How did it impact you in your life? Or even, what are you doing for self-care? What does self-care look like for you? I'd like to be notified when I put up a video next time. By all means, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I would love it if you liked and shared my video, because that will help the algorithm move things along. I do offer soul-centered counselling as well. You can find my details in the description box below, so you're welcome to reach out and make contact. I also at this time have my galactic astrology waitlist open for bookings, along with my socials. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. So until next time, sending love and light to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you soon.